It's been wrong in the past, even at those levels, but I do think it's a sure thing this time.
And I finally had a sure thing.
The stock market was a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Not a sure thing.
Sure thing.
It wasn't a sure thing.
It's a sure thing.
Amen.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Not a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
I don't think it's a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Not a sure thing. Sure thing.
Must be a sure thing.
But I don't think it's a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Nature, everybody wants to rule the...
Who has wronged you today, brother?
I bought so much wiring for the earpiece, it was the only thing missing.
Wow, look at you, relaxed.
First, look how long it is. Look, it just never ends.
Leaning back, brother.
Oh, dude, the thing is, I think what is such a big comeuppance is we record all these things. It's like in a delirium. You don't know what's going on, just week in, week out.
Yeah.
But then I think when you come to try clip them up for Instagram, you realise that there's not much there. Do you know what I mean? Like, you send me a file, it's 15 gigabytes, the most unwielding fucking bullshit. 15 gigabytes. It makes my computer operate like it's from the 1930s, like an old Nana.
Like one of those IBM machines that they use to process the Jews at Auschwitz.
Dude, 100%. It's like one of those line bit printers, and I print out the image, and all I see is a picture of us, and it's like, MasterChef, and I'm like... And then you upload it into CapCut, that takes an hour. Then you get one bit about Master Parker, and you upload it. You look an hour later, 50 views. And you're like, what are we doing? What are we doing, dude? I would be better off to get a pamphlet delivery job and at least have metrics where I could see that I'm improving. I'm like, well, I did 100 pamphlets yesterday and I did 101. We are so far in the void, so far in the asshole of obscurity that it's insane. It's literally... There's no option. Why don't we spend, if we spent this much time focusing on a real estate business, strategizing where we could do door-to-door knocking, what areas come up, maybe we could get some leases, get some rental properties, we'd be better off. This should be a fucking sales call to say, hey, I've looked at Armidale, let's go and do some door knocking in Armidale. There's lots of opportunities there to sell houses and buy bed sits.
Yeah, but you and me are like the Saturday like paper delivery boys, chucking all of them in the skip behind the supermarket.
Oh, dude, that's what I did. You know that?
Yeah.
I binned them all. Do you know what's funny is, you know what I've realized in life?
Yeah.
The obstacle to your success is always the same thing. Work. Whenever anything's easy, it's fine. When you just sit here and you lie back in a seat and go like, yes, I was on the trains, what are trains? But as soon as you go, okay, now what are you going to do with that? And you go, okay, well, I have to download 15 gigs, try cut it up. I'm going to learn how to use cut. I'm like, well, this sucks. It's the same with stand-up. I've got a gig this weekend, beer festival. I arrive there, free beers. But the bit I don't like is, for 20 minutes I have to go and talk and I need words to say. I'm like, well, that sucks. I like the bit where they give me hot dogs. They go, look, excited to see you act. I can't wait to see your little act. They give me a beer. Do you know what I mean? The favorite part of any gig is before they've seen you, where it's all anticipation. Everything's possible. It might be a new Robin Williams, but the truth is it's not, because you haven't done any work and you're not talented. And then there's the after bit, which has happened to me a lot, where the bar stops serving you. It happened to me a few weeks ago. I think you've had enough drinks for what you did.
Do you think this work aversion is sort of like it's informed your brokering career? Like the idea of not really having to do anything, but you log on to fucking Macquarie and you're like, yeah, I'll put it all in here and hopefully
totally. And then obviously we had TG6, which is sending me insane. Because we heard it the last live pod and it was like 32 to 40 cents and you could hear my distress.
Yeah.
Because I'd been fucking podcasting to 12 people and I was like, what? Oh, wait, I've got to go, man. I've got to work out what I'm going to do here. And that's how we left it. Obviously went to $1.20. Could have saved my whole life.
It's at 76 cents now. Like it's the ass has dropped out of it.
Well, it's good because the cap raise has to come at some point.
I was going to say, has the cap raise come yet?
Not yet. And people have been buying internally at very high prices, and I'm like, but there's no victory there, right? Because even now that it's gone from 30 cents to $1.20, the gambling boys win. Do you know, even if I get proven right and there's a cap raise,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, the upside of that stock is gone.
You need to stop looking at it because it's become it's become an albatross, man. It's become another ticker that you'll forever look at, and no matter what it does.
Oh, yeah.
If it goes up, you'll be like, "What the fuck? Why didn't I buy?"
Yeah, yeah.
And if it goes down, you'll be like, I should have bought it earlier, but I told you this was gonna fucking happen."
Dude, it's sort of like they're single use. It's a bit like a condom. Like the excitement of that stock is gone now. It's exploded.
Man, are they single use?
No, as in I'm saying it's exploded. Like it's ejaculated.
No, condoms.
Oh, yeah, man. That was the standard. I've seen comedians do that on stage.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't realize they're single use. I washed them.
I roll them back up. The hardest thing is getting them back in the package.
Oh, and Mum's weird about me hanging them out. At least I'm hanging them up. I don't do that with my jocks to dry them out. I remember that was the classic. It was in Zimbabwe or something. They had a safe sex campaign. And someone at the last minute thought after that they should have an information brochure, so they stapled it. Explaining how to get them on their massive decks to stop the spread of HIV. And that staple punctured it and caused AIDS to be very much like those blankets that had pneumonia in it. What were they called? The fucking scurvy blanket. What was the blanket that wiped out all of
Like
South
the
America?
smallpox blankets?
Yeah, the smallpox blanket. Where they handed out and didn't realise the guys packaging the blankets had smallpox and then wiped out the whole
Well, yeah, man, because
population.
the sickly guy is the one who can't be doing anything else. He needs to be packing up the blankets.
Oh.
He's not able to. You don't want him cooking the food. You can't bring him with you. He's slowing the whole gang down. So he stays at home, packs up the blanket.
There's so many well-meaning acts. Do you know? I think that's what happens in life. There's so many where you think you're doing the right thing, but you're actually destructive. I think that's most of these virtue signalers. The way they get involved in everything. I'm like, I don't think you're helping. No, because I think like white women they're the big cultural appropriators. They're the ones, the all-seeing, all-knowing eyes. I think they're the trigger of most of conflict. Just getting involved because they're bored and they need an activity. Do you know? They need an argument, and they're just not letting things sit. They're the ones always swilling up the pool. Otherwise, it just sit because people are working too hard. No one has a chance to address anything. It's only the white unemployed, the stay-at-home that's in there going, poking and getting race relations at fever-pitch levels by doing runs and going, he shouldn't talk to you like that. I'm like, just chill, dude. We get some croissants. We have a nice little ride. We don't know about any national ethnic shit. We're just all having a picnic.
Virtue signaling feels good. It feels good to have the moral high ground. So if you have some kind of vague progressive view and then you see someone else doing something that's a bit shit, that's the perfect time for you to go, oh, actually, I wouldn't do that. That's actually bad.
But what I'm saying is they're the trick. They're the catalyst. They're the acid in the water because they go up to the people that have got the bad situation and go, oh my God, are you letting them? I would not let anyone talk to you like that. And they go, really? And they go like, this is awful. And they're like, we like him. He seems all right. It's not on. And then suddenly they're revved up going like, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. And I'm like, it's just that idle brain looking for chaos, looking for collision.
Are you suggesting that, like, he's suggesting white women have done the most for like, I don't know, civil rights for minorities, for instance?
I think they're basically the catalyst. When you drill back down and you realize, oh, look, it wasn't a great situation, but it was just working and people were getting on with it. It's only them that sort of pull away the Band-Aid and trigger the chaos and the storm. And then you have a week, a month of strikes and fighting. Then they all hug and go, look, yeah, I was wrong. You were wrong. Let's just get the factory back operating again. I don't know what came over me. But when you look back, it's always a lady in a car park whispering into either side's ears because they're bored and go like, he should not talk to you that way. And you're like, really? He seems like, but he saved my family. But, well, not as well as I would have. And then they just disappear into the night. They're basically the catalysts.
Unsure.
They're in there causing arguments, and they do it. You can see it because they do it in their friend group. Do you see the way Susie was talking to Mick? She's flirting with your husband. She's wearing a low-cut top, and she's flirting. Did you see what Susie did with Mick? She's flirting with your husband. She's what? I thought they were just friends. I don't think so. And then they're like, you motherfucking bitch. Come here, Susie. They're fighting. And then it resolves, and eventually it always settles to equilibrium. It's always, look, sorry, Susie, I don't know what came over me. And I'm like, I know what came over you. Karen whispering.
No, man, there's no apology, dude. You have two races fighting. They're throwing Molotov cocktails. There's rioting. It's gone nuts. No one's really sure why, but it is the Karen.
Yeah.
She's since moved on though. She's on the internet. She's complaining about something else.
And she will gaslight you.
Cadbury chocolate, the size is too small now. They keep reducing the size of the blocks.
Dude, anyway, she will gaslight you because when you come back and go, obviously you triggered the whole Susie argument. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about.
I never said anything about
Susie.
But I haven't talked to Susie in months.
I've never even mentioned, I've never met Susie. What are you going on about? Oh, dude, I was thinking, I just had you know what I was saying with, this is what the two fundamental truths are, like, one, accents.
We finally got it.
Accents prove racism because even in white countries, people sound different because they go, they're not like us. But I think the fundamental truth of why there's always going to be...
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, I'm saying just in Wales, there's divisions. So over the hill, one person speaks different to another group of people, and they won't even cross the well. But what I think fundamentally proves why there's always going to be disparities between people is the fact that at high school you sit in groups. Like, why do you sit with your friends? You should sit with everyone. We should be more inclusive. No, but what I'm saying to you, if you want utopia, you should sit with everyone at school. Why are there little breakaway groups? It's disgusting. It's not inclusive. They shouldn't be computer groups and sports groups. They should all hang together. What I'm saying is, just even at a micro level, I went to drop my lunches off at my boy, some tuna sandwich that had been left in the sun, and I dropped it off, and I yelled because they were it was sort of like the kids group, and they're all sitting on different mats with the people that they preferred, and I basically went straight up to the teacher and was infuriated. I'm going, this is how it starts. This is the beginning of race relation. Everyone must be holding hands in a circle. I'm like, you cannot have these fractious sort of setups. Why is that those three fatter boys not included with the three skinnier boys? Why is that the kid with braces? Do you know what I mean? You can see it already. The insidious, or whatever the word is.
Yeah, insidious is that's a good word.
Nature of human beings. But what I'm saying to you is, there's a sadness even there, hey? What are you doing? You're sitting with your friend group? The fact that you have a birthday party and you don't invite the whole school already shows how cruel you are as a human being. The fact that your mum and dad are complicit, and this is only because my son's been left out of a few birthday invites, but what I'm saying to you is... like,
eating all the cake.
Do you not see the nastiness of it? When you organise a birthday, everyone wants cake. And cake's not expensive, but you pick the 8 favourite people from the age group that come and hang out. Pick all of them. Pick that boy on the spectrum that can count matches.
Is there any sense of community? Is there any sense of community without exclusion?
Yeah, you're right. It's the exclusion that brings you together. It's the bullying.
Because whatever the size of the group, if it's 100 people or it's 10 or it's millions, like the fractures are there for each of them, right?
Yeah.
So for 10 people, it's half of them like they like deep dish pizza, and the other half like thin crust.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude. It's the hottest chick in the room theory. Like that, wherever you are, you'll find someone, someone to infatuate about, or you'll find like a friend. In every scenario, you'll find someone to hate, someone to love, someone that you're friends with. No matter what, and you can just change the group, and the standard can lower, but you'll still find the love of your life, a best friend, and an enemy in a group of 10, a group of 100. You can be in Sri Lanka, you can be in Pakistan. You're always going to find the love of your life, a best friend, and an enemy in every scenario.
Yeah. It's crazy that your best friend and your soulmate always so close to where you were born and raised.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
fucking wild, man. It's so fortunate.
You see it in prisons because they always, eventually they find the love of their life, which is another man in their cell that they're sucking off every night. An enemy. Human beings do it every fucking time. And what I was saying to you is people are complicit. We're adults. We're aware of it. Do you know that it's very mean to, when you're a school of 30 kids, is to pick 14 or 15 and say that you don't have the budget for the other 15. The joy of the birthday is coming from your little turd son handing out the 15 invites as everyone goes into class, and then feeling the rush when he watches the other 15 that weren't invited have a bad day. Do you know what I mean?
Don't you think it's crazy that Andy Dufresne didn't try and get out of Shawshank until after he stopped being raped?
Mate. No, but it took him a long time to build that tunnel.
No, he didn't start digging until after, man. That was it. That was when he decided he needed to leave, when his friends were gone.
Dude, I think that tunnel was just a metaphor for him. He started to eat ass and eating ass in the prison.
You think the tunnel was a metaphor for him coming to terms with his own sexuality?
Yeah, and basically, it was every time he was in the tunnel is him actually being tunneled or tunneled. He never left the prison. That was him going to a safe place.
No, dude, he did escape the prison that he had built inside himself, man.
Oh, dude, that would be such a good, if it was Fight Club, and then they go, come on, Andy, come on. And it's also like the end of Blow. And they were like, come out from your tunnel. And the tunnel is actually just a metaphor for being raped. He's in the tunnel. And then it's like, yeah, you never left. You never left. That would be, I don't like the happy endings. I would like that you have the happy ending and then you leave it with a little twist, because I'm nasty, that it is him just imagining him being on an island and you just see him getting gang raped. And that's a much better movie for me, where you go, oh, did you love the twist? After the credits, where they show like, no, mate.
Post-credit scene for Shawshank Redemption.
And then you wait, and it's like Mario, and you're like, oh, it's him waking up, and he's actually still in the prison bed, and it's just him. Oh, dude, it's fun to have those little what are they called? Christmas presents, or what are they fucking called? Easter eggs. Easter eggs.
Christmas present. But man, like what you were saying before, in the classroom, yeah, you've got all the groups.
Yeah.
But then when you expanded the school, suddenly their classroom, even if Thornton's not invited to the birthday party, when it comes to fucking sports day or whatever,
yeah,
they're cheering on each other it's his classroom against the other classrooms.
Yeah.
And then it's his school against the other school.
Dude, and then that's what I'm saying. It's a grassroots level. I think at the beginning, if you want this inclusive society, you should not have birthday parties. You should not have friend groups. You should not allow it.
But what I'm saying is there a society without an external society?
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I'm saying, but that's what I'm pushing for, that no splintering ever. You stay inclusive always. You can't have fucking different groups in your age group. It's disgusting. Everyone's a human being and deserves love and compassion.
Of course.
And the fact that you've got 3 of you running off and climbing a tree, and the third one with a kick me sign on the back running around because he's been given some sort of fucking battery acid in his drink, or there's pranks and stuff going on. I'm like, yeah, learn compassion and love for everyone in your microcosm. No one's even doing it in their microcosm.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not
But
disagreeing
what I'm
with
saying
you.
is, I'm saying that a housewife is bullying every day. And then she's saying, oh, racism and exclusion. And I'm like, you're lying and saying that Susie's trying to suck off Mikey, who's Jenny's husband. And I'm like, you're being fucking disgusting. You're perpetuating what the source code of racism on a daily basis. I see you all doing it. I see all these people sharing the virus that is humanity. I see that virus in action. Do you know what I mean? And that's the fundamental coding error that leads to all of this. Fix the coding on a base level.
I guess what I'm... Is there... Is the best bit of the birthday party not the act of handing out the invitations, but the act of not handing out the invitations to the other 15?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Which means that there's no solution. Which it's basically you can't have a good time unless someone else is having a bad time.
Yes. And that is the fundamental flaw of this entire simulation is the core, the value of the birthday ticket is the exclusivity of it.
Yeah.
The fact that people have been excluded. Otherwise, if everyone's going to Time Zone and getting cake, guess what? It sucks and no one wants to go. The real value comes in.
It's Monday morning when you're at school and you're talking about how fucking sick Time Zone was in front of Gary, and Gary's upset
in front of
by
another person. And the moment when you get home and put it on your pin board next to your little photo of a jet ski or whatever the fuck you're aiming for, and you go, yes, 8 invites and I was one of them. Fuck that fat cat. I've been bullying him for years. And guess what? Last year, Jamie was invited and now I am, because I told everyone that Jamie had been stealing lunches. I made it up. All my dastardly plans have come to roost. But what I'm saying is the group dynamics of the white woman housewife group express all the things they're trying to fix. All that ails them exists in their microcosm. They operate all the things that they parade about fixing are operated in their group of 8 ladies. Everything that exclusion, nastiness, bullying, everything that they talk about, and they've got signs going, stop the nastiness, stop the nastiness. They will burst into laughter when Cheryl comes in with a handbag that's not the right brand. Look at that! I'm literally crying. She got the Crocs from Big Dumb. I'm literally crying. They look like them, but they're like Downs version. They look all bigger. Look at it. No, come Cheryl, let me get a photo. No, they're not bullying you. Let me get a photo of you walking, parade these. Look at that. Green Mox. What does it say on the bottom? Mox. Listen, look, Stacey, look. It says fucking Mox. That's what they do. Unbelievable that they will go to a rally for Israel-Palestine. On the way there, they're teasing and bullying and poking and prodding. It's insane to me, the hypocrisy of the human being.
Well, there's no it's like the requirement for division is innate. Things need to be segmented so that you can support a side, pick a winner, pick a loser.
Yeah.
If Israel invites Palestine to the birthday party, it doesn't work anymore. What we need is an external threat, though. That's what was nice about COVID, is that there was, for a brief period of time, there was an external threat.
Yeah, it brings you together, dude.
No one was worried about the Gaza or bombings or anything like that. Everyone was one, and we were all united against the disgusting germ.
It's like we've done this premise a few times about the proximity of, like, you'll help a homeless guy because you don't have the story, but then you won't help your meth affected relative because you know that he screwed people over.
Yeah, but this
so
this is like the size of the group, I suppose, and then the division. Like, we need something that's bigger than the world, bigger than country, to be angry at.
Yeah. Well, it's Ronald Reagan, the alien invasion theory. If we got invaded by aliens overnight, suddenly we wouldn't have the Cold War anymore, would we? Because we have those slimy little beasts coming with guns at us. That would be a bigger problem. But it is that dissociative sort of mindset, because it was like, it's the same way that I see it. We've done it, like people go on Ancestry.com to try find like a candlestick maker from the 1600s. And I'm like, they haven't even visited their nan for 2 months. Their living relative, they haven't rung to see what nan's doing, 2 suburbs over, who has arthritis, but then they're paying large amount of money to try connect with the 1600s candlestick maker. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's odd to me.
Yeah, well, you can't virtue signal with your nan, because your nan was just some lady who benefited from being white and privileged and everything went her way. But you can virtue signal when you find out that your great uncle was half Filipino, and you're like, we were oppressed in the Philippines. That's my group. That's where I suffered.
That's what they're all doing, is fishing for relevance. That's what's amazing. That's what Ancestry.com is in a last-ditched effort to fish for some sort of relevance. You might find Napoleon 15 generations back and then try to take credit for it and go, well, there's an element of legacy here the family has achieved. I love it when people come up empty. Most Australians come up just with a rapist convict about 5 back. And then they go, look, well, whatever, Ancestry.com's bullshit. You don't know if it's accurate. I still think the favourite of the DNA thing ever was Patrice O'Neill's bit about why he didn't litter, because he would end up being pulled in, do you know, the DNA?
Yeah.
He'd be accused of any crime. He goes, I throw a can, and then a month later a white woman's raped in those bushes. I'm going to jail. It is actually pretty funny that you're effectively throwing potential DNA evidence everywhere.
It feels like for a lot of Australians that there's a narrative around the convict ancestor thing.
Yeah.
My ancestors were persecuted in England and sent off to live on the prison colony.
Oh, dude, it's all sanitized and Disney-fied.
Yeah, he did not. They were stealing bread for their families. But then the truth is, really, there's nothing romantic about it at all.
Dude, it's the same thing like that you have in the prison walls, right? Everyone was falsely accused. What actually happened is there was probably 3 or 4 poor bastards that did just steal a loaf of bread. But I can guarantee 98% of the people that live in Australia were hardcore rape/murderers that were despicable. That idea that, it's Disney-fied, all he done, little fucking...
You know what people think, man? They think of Aladdin at the beginning of the film when he steals the bread.
Yeah, dude.
But dude, what about the guy who spent all morning baking their fucking bread, man?
All they imagine, everyone in Australia imagines Oliver Twist.
Yeah.
Oliver, never the train would be. But the truth is, that guy, Fagin, that ran it all, that's your ancestor. The guy that's raping the kids and teaching them to be shoplifters, that's your real ancestor. Don't be Oliver Twist. Oliver. And then they've all got... They've cleansed their history. The reality is they're the product of crimes, of rapes. They rape children and murder children. This whole thing is like fucking Lord of the Flies. It's disgusting. Do you know, if you look at any of the history, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Forget saying sorry to the Indigenous people. Everyone should just be hanging themselves and paying penance for the crimes. Do you know what I mean? We shouldn't be alive. You don't get to cleanse yourself. You should actually take a gun in your head and say, this is for what my fucking great-grand did on those dunes. Bang! It ends now. The suffering ends now. We don't get to cleanse. We're rape babies. The whole of Australia is a rape baby? Really? Am I wrong?
Man, I think we're all rape babies if we go back far enough.
If you look at Australia, and then it's all Oliver Twist. Oh, they were in there, weren't they? And he could sing like an angel, and he should have had a musical made about him. They were actually all scratching on those boats, shoving people to the ground, pushing them, raping them, throwing them off the side. I mean, if you could, I wish they had documentary evidence That would be the greatest if they had footage of your great-great-granddad. And you'd be like, oh, my God, I can feel the evil through the camera. Do you know what I mean? Imagine how despicable most of Australia was when they arrived.
Well, if you think that like 8% of Asian people are descended from Genghis Khan,
Oh, no.
like the most evil, just the biggest, strongest motherfucker. That was it. The
So
only metrics
evil, dude.
for success. Then what's the likelihood that if you go back to the same time period in your family tree, you're not also descended from a fucking criminal?
Dude, you have to question yourself. People get upset about it. You have to question yourself that your family happens to be the clean hands, the clean set of hands.
Yeah.
I'm like, what massaging of the past. I have never met an Australian that isn't semi-proud of their ancestor.
Yeah, I've never met an Australian who's been like, yeah, my great-great-great-grandfather, he burned down a school.
Oh, yeah.
He was mentally unwell.
It's very rare.
Then they shipped him over here, and it was a whole thing. And he was sort of retarded. He had like a 74 IQ.
They never say, hey, we were spawned from a monster. You thought Hitler was bad. You should have seen the diaries we found from my great-great.
If my great-granddaddy had access to more power, oh, Hitler would have been running terrified from him.
We found his diaries, and they just basically documented where bodies were buried.
Just written in shit. Just the psychotic, shit-written ramblings of a lunatic.
Man, it is everything sanitized for your consumption and ability to just get on with life. Nothing's cleared up for you. There's so much nasty, and that's what I'm saying to you. You see the hints of it. You see when they all laugh when Stacey arrives with her new permed hair and she's got a bad dye job, and they're giggling, and they giggle all night on their white wine. They're out having lunch. They laugh. They all laugh. I see them. They laugh when Jeff loses his job, not to Stacey's face, but they can't stop laughing. They're selling the house with the tennis court. No way. Are you fucking serious? Yes. 2 months in there. They'd renovated. I hear them. You know why? Because you don't hear it face to face, but you hear them if you listen when you're walking around. I listen all the time when you're at restaurants and you hear people talking about people that aren't there, which is what most of the convo is. That's why you've got to always eavesdrop. Whenever you listen, every time, even walking to get my coffee then, 3 gossips. One girl talking about her counselling, and I think she was talking about her friend that was getting marriage counselling. Overhear it. A complete betrayal of trust happening just casually on a fucking Friday morning as she has a latte. No fucking qualms from her. Basically getting momentum socially using someone else's pain. There she was. And I'm like, ask yourself how often you do it. Everyone does it. They're in there feasting on failure. That's all anyone is. Loving it.
Of course, because it's all relative. All you can do to appear taller is cut the legs of someone else.
Dude, and you know how you can feel how bad you are? Is watch the impulse when you get hot goss that it's actually really bad about someone, how quickly you need to share that to elevate your social position. How you basically have a smoker's urge to go like, we need to wind up this lunch right now because I need to do some long calls. I got to do some voice chats. Motherfucker, you're telling me he's a homosexual? It all makes sense. Oh, I can't wait to ring. You're ringing people going, pick up the phone, you need this. You know, I see it all the time. The ripples that are created with gossip.
Man, it's the same rhetoric that people who go to Southeast Asian countries use. Like, yeah, man, over there, I'm fucking rich. I'm tall. I've got a huge dick. Everyone thinks I'm fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
No one knows that I've got an awful personality.
Yeah.
Because of the language barrier, and I look kind of foreign, which is exciting. Man, but that's all it is. It's finding a place that you feel like you're
king. And that's what happens every holiday. Because you go out and go, mate, I was picking up every night. I'm like, yeah, because you were in squalor. you're in a hostel, you're staying in the lowest socioeconomic area. If you go in Perth and go to the real rough areas, you too can get your dick sucked in an alleyway by someone on welfare.
Yeah, we can all go pagan, man. You know what I mean? We can all slum it.
And you go, she talked a bit rough. And you're like, oh, I think it was the Irish accent. It's not. She's Eliza Doolittle. You're basically Jack the Ripper handing grapes out a window.
That's not an accent, man. Like, she's inebriated. She is on drugs. She's an addict.
Yeah, that's a meth addict. No, that's an Irish accent. I think you're beg to differ. And they come back and they're going, I'm getting sex every night. And I'm like, yeah, you're Jack the Ripper with grapes, pulling prostitutes into your van. I'm like, there's nothing fucking... And because of the accent and the cultural difference, you're unaware that you're in squalor. You're going, it was a bit weird that the morning after I saw her shitting in a bucket and throwing it out the side of a caravan. I think that's how Romanian population live. I think they all live. Roasting a stray cat for dinner. I mean, a delicacy. What are you doing there with that? What sort of animal's that? That's a stray dog. Being put on a stick. Ooh, a Romanian delicacy. And then you write in your diary, like, you know, like you're that, who's that guy that topped himself? Anthony Bourdain.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, a succulent. We suckled on the roast of a beautiful pheasant, we believe, and a white wine to chase it off. He was quite good, dude, with his poetry.
Dude, Anthony Bourdain is the best, man. Great book, so many great series, the best shows.
You know what his value was? He did the work because he's a drug addict, and then basically he made the documentaries. But rather than do what most people would do, right, is just get filmed and just hope to stumble on stuff. He obviously was crowbarring in his journal into his words because it was very well written.
Well, I think he was also a person who was genuinely interested in the other people and the places that he was going.
But you know when he would sum it up, Hong Kong, and he would, I'm like, no one talks like that. He had obviously written and slaved over the word selection that he had because it was just two-word perfect because it's very rare, even when you meet celebrities in comedy world, like it's very rare that they live up to their act. Oh, They're always fucking disappointing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, God. I'm sure if you met Ricky Gervais, you'd be like, oh, God, he just farted and said, whatever. It's a show about an office. Fuck up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've ever met a celebrity that's matched their product that they're selling. Like, it's always disappointing.
Yeah, because it's insane to be on all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're on all the time, which is something that people kind of can't believe when they meet you. It's like, oh, shit, that like he is like that 24/7.
Yeah, well, man.
Which is good. That's great. It's very genuine.
No, but you know what people say? People say, oh, why are you like that? Because it is inhospitable. Like, you can't have friends or ever have any meaningful relationships like this. But I don't want them. Because I've met everyone and I overhear their convos and you're like, I don't want to be trapped in one of your cliche experiences, so I don't give a fuck. And they go like, don't you want to just be more like sincere and build a meaningless relationship? I'm like, I'm just sick of your chat. I literally will kill someone if I have to talk to them.
You can whittle through the thousands and thousands of people until you find what you really want and need, which is an
audience.
What a difficult sort of long distance connection with one other man who's also sad. So you can do a podcast together.
Dude, and that's what we do. And that sums it up. It is a bit like that because I get advice like people are saying, why are you yelling all the time doing this? And I'm like,
man, that's not advice, dude. You don't describe that as advice. That gives them no, I mean like that gives them too much. Like people say shit things and they're very critical. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They're not genuinely interested in your well-being when they're like, he's loud.
They're so shocked because they're like, because humans are a herd animal, they're always trying to foster a herd. And they're just so confused that I have no interest in, like, they're trying to give me honest advice to try and get me invited to the birthday party. And they're like, dude, there's lots about you we don't mind. If you could chill out this bit, you're going to get some cake. You're going to get some invites. And I'm like, I actively chose to fuck it off. I don't care.
I don't want cake.
I want money and I don't want to be at your fucking bowling day. I don't care about your fucking party, cunt.
It's the assumption that you are missing out in some way, or that your desired outcome is the same as their desired outcome.
Dude, and it's Ghost of Christmas Past. They're in there and they're like, we've spoken to Andrew. They're all sitting around at a table having a roast, but they don't realize that my joy comes from banging on that window like a homeless man and exposing my dick to them and then running off. My joy becomes by derailing their groups to try be annoying, to be a thorn in everyone's side. They keep giving me advice to try get me included and go like, just get your hair cut, act more normal. And I'm like, dude, you don't realize my rush comes from seeing you at your birthday party as you're cutting the cake, banging on the glass with a foam mouth and exposing an erect dick and yelling, to infinity and beyond. And they're going, what is wrong with him? He's so grubby. And that's where I'm getting my satiation of being like the black sheep. The black sheep is actually the wolf. That's the joke of it all. There is no black sheep. The sheep are dumb cunts. The black sheep is ultimately a wolf. The sheep never work out that it's a wolf devouring them all, going like, stay away from that black sheep. Yeah, no shit, it's a fucking wolf, you dumb fuck. It's not a sheep. It has no inclination to being in a herd because I get repulsed by conversations. They actually make me angry. I detest people's feelings and interactions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I do know what you mean.
The predictable nature, I just feel upset by that. That is either hilarious or infuriates me.
I also screen every phone call and don't leave the house, man.
Oh, why would you answer your phone? I don't answer my phone now. I'm like, how dare you not at least give me some indication with a message what this relates to?
Absolutely. Send a fucking text or, hey, can I call?
We live in this generation. First thing you do is you text a message that gives them some indication about what it relates to.
You beg.
And at that point,
beg for a opportunity and for permission to call the phone.
Yeah, and I'll say, look, your personality alone does not have me invested. I don't give a fuck that you found out someone's gay or that Cheryl's cheating on her husband. I don't care. Give me some sort of
insight. Man, that's the same person, dude. That's Cheryl's gay.
But I'm like, if you think I'm going to take potluck on a phone call with another human being, you're insane. So I'm just going to randomly trust that your decision to ring me is valid? No. You give me some idea so that I can work out whether I get trapped in a mindless chat with a fucking non-playable character. You're off your fucking tree if you think I'm picking up a phone call without first reading an email or getting a text about what the fuck it does. And that's what happens. You ignore the phone and then they'll message and go, please pick up. I've got hot goss. Nigel's gay. Wow, okay, let me on. I'll let you get it off your chest. You can get your endorphin rush betraying the trust of a friend, which is what you're doing. You get your rush by betraying the...
Pushing down, man. Stepping on some fucking necks.
Because you had a confidential discussion with someone where they told you something personal.
Oh, yeah, they're weeping. You're holding them. They're crying on your shoulder and saying, thank you so much. I'm so glad I could be open with you. I feel like I'm going to be judged.
No one looks at themselves from 40,000 feet. You know when you're sitting there and they go, look, I shouldn't tell anyone this, but I trust you and we're good friends. I'm going to tell you. To betray them 8 hours later and then to not reflect on what you are as a person is insane to me. No, I'm a good person. Look, I just got drunk. I shouldn't have told everyone that he's bankrupt. But I need to get my endorphins kick. And look, yeah, I betrayed him. Every single person betrays everyone. Whenever they get told details about someone's life and the person specifically says, don't tell anyone, no one ever does it. I don't know anyone that doesn't just fucking spill the beans. It's so rare.
And Ken's, my father, who does not listen to the podcast or know of you really at all.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, so how old is he? And I was like, no, I told him I wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah, you can't tell anyone.
He's like, yeah, but what do you but how old is he? Like, I don't. What does it matter? I'm like, because I said.
It belies the whole point of our podcast.
I said I wouldn't do that. How that is the betrayal. I can't. It's even a betrayal of my own, like my own integrity.
Dude, it's such a betrayal, and it belies the whole point of our podcast, which is about pigeonholing everyone. Like, you don't get that definition. I don't even like that I've got a name. It should just be weird code sound. Like, I don't want to be part of any of this fucking shit simulation. I've been trying to, I tried to open up with my set that I said, you smell your fingers to try to see if you're real or in the now. It's the most confusing opener. I said, come on, guys. You tell me you don't smell your own fingers to check if you're real?
What?
I said this to silence.
Why have you picked smell your own fingers? I feel like that is one of the senses that is like quite easily deceived. For instance, have you ever smelled cocoa butter? Like the lotion?
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten cocoa butter? The smell and the taste, the smell is very deceptive. It tastes like shit, man.
Dude,
why would you rely on that sense?
Dude, I thought this was like going to be my relatable bit. I said, don't you sniff your fingernails to bring you into the present? And people are like, what are you talking about?
You mean sniff your fingernails?
You know, when you're disassociative and you smell, and you can smell a slight sniff of fecal matter under the nail, and it brings you into the present. And people are very confused. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm trying to do a relatable observation, and I'm getting blocked every which way. You're telling me that's not normal?
I just think that you've picked such a horrible. There's so many issues with the initial statement.
Oh, dude, it's the most disgusting image. The only image worse than that is Michael Jackson peering into kids' buttholes. It's the only thing more despicable than that idea of a man sniffing his fingers on a bus to bring him into the present. It's so good.
That was such a funny part of that documentary when he was describing how Michael Jackson would, his thing was to stare into a butthole of a child.
I don't think any crime was committed.
Yeah.
As long as you don't touch the hole, why can't you look in?
Yeah. You're allowed to gaze into the abyss. You just can't touch the abyss.
Dude, if the kid doesn't know, so the kid's, he just happens to be up on like a stirrup and he's playing Nintendo Switch. How he doesn't know. He thinks he's just airing out his rash. He doesn't know that Michael's walking behind with a telescope.
Yeah, this is really the difference between a gynecologist and an amateur gynecologist, isn't it?
Yeah.
All he needed was a qualification, man. If you're a proctologist, you can stare at all the kid buttholes you like.
Do you think there's a gynecologist that can't make a woman come? Like, do you think that's how they test them?
Man, I think I think most of them don't even fucking want to.
Oh yeah.
If you spend all day on the tools, man, you don't want to pick up a hammer when you get home.
Dude, it is that classic joke because I remember when I was younger, and it's like total misogyny, you know, the worst of like, oh yeah, I just want to be like a fucking gynecologist. But obviously it's flawed immediately because you're just looking at disease.
And you're too close to it, man. Why would you get that close to it?
And you don't really want to see inflamed and pussy pupils. No, but you know what I mean?
Dude, it's like finding out how a magic trick works. You get too close to it, you find out how the magic trick works, and that kills the magic.
Yeah, and that's why I find it funny that like doctors still have sex, because if you actually understand what's doing, so you're like friction, and then chemical released. Once you see it in a sort of the mechanical way, like an autistic mind, you're like, oh, God, we are so fucking basic human beings. Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, like most of the dopamine or the pleasure centers seem very basic. Because you understand what's happening and you're like, oh, I met someone new, and then you're infatuated by them. You're messaging. And you're like, oh, it's just this section's being triggered. That's going. Do you know what I mean? I think this is why maybe I have autism, because I don't think it's normal to be analyzing your feelings in such a way.
Have you ever had something like that during sex, or I don't really know what like another good example, but where you become very aware in an almost out of body way that you're just going through like a biological process.
I've had it where we've meant to be having like an intimate moment and it's a special one, and someone brings me into God. I'm just so glad we found each, and they're talking to me, and I'm suddenly finding myself angry and disgusted at how cliche the moment is. Do you know when like we're rolling and we're watching, like you're at a park and it's a movie night and you got the picnic hamper and they try to pull you into what feels like The Notebook or a movie, a rom-com experience, and I find myself repulsed at the fact that I've fallen victim, you know, like that I'm like self-aware of like, oh my God, this is so fucking, I was going to say the word G-A-Y, but it's not appropriate.
I think it's fine, man. I think it's fine to call it gay. It is gay to have feelings and to think about the feelings. It's the immediacy with which everything is ruined, and the genuine moments can be dashed. They can be ripped to shreds as soon as you become aware of them.
They've taken away a bit of our language because that is G-A-Y. Because you've been taught that.
I don't know why you're not saying the word gay now when we've said it so many times before.
No, but saying as a definition, right? It's because when you were younger and you cried and you showed emotional, this is where it comes from, right?
That was gay. That was gay.
Your dad was going, shut the fuck up, grow up, don't cry in front of me. And that is why when you're actually having intimacy with someone and they go like, I love you so much, you mean so much, you have flashes and it's triggered by this misogyny that's innate in a male, and you think, this is fucking gay. Do you know what I mean? And you're actually feeling wholesome and loved and connected, and you're triggered going like, fuck, this is homo. You know what I mean? And you're like, you should just lean into it and go like, cuddle me, let me suckle on your breasts and feel like a baby again. But instead you go like, and this is a bad thing that I need to work with a counsellor. I should be able to do Lady and the Tramp and not feel lame sharing spaghetti.
But how can you, man? How can you be part of a cliched moment and think it's so? But then I guess I'm saying that, and everyone is all the time, and they're absolutely fine with it. But I've definitely caught myself often, so many times, being part of or being led down cliche road, going, "Fuck this, no way."
The greatest regret is, displaying the love. What's it called? Where you're like, you're online and like. You're talking about your infatuation or love with this person. Do you know, public displays of affection?
Sure.
That's what we're talking about. Public displays of affection have always made me cringe because you'll write it and they'll go, I love him like no other. I love him like myself. And it's sort of all like, do you know, like Lest We Forget with roses? Dun, 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 dun. They do a montage, there's photos, and it's for your anniversary. Da, da. There's big fireworks, and they go, I'll love them on the hills. We will never forget our love.
Them on the hill. We will love them on the beaches.
We will love them on the beaches. When the morning shall set and the sun shall set, we shall remember our love. And it's on Facebook with all your friends going like, fuck, I love you guys. And you're like, you're in there, and then you get sent that and you've got to respond. I will love her on the beaches. I will love her when cancer riddles my body and I'm on my deathbed. I will kiss and cuddle her until all of time. I can't do that. I find it crazy to go and then I find it even crazier the people that start going, God, I love you guys. What you've got is special. It's the weirdest fucking shit ever, especially when you consider that they're people like me watching, divorced, alone, destitute,
angry.
And you know what it is? You know where you're getting your joy from? You got the cake and I didn't. You got the invite and I didn't. You've got to go online. It's not enough for you guys to just go and have your fucking picnic in private and tug each other off in the dunes. You have to get a little dopamine rush by doing a public display of affection, knowing full well that I am staring on from the void and the abyss with tears streaming down my eyes and then saying, you know what, I don't even want that. It's fucking cliche.
Yeah, I struggle with any sort of any publicizing of deaths or whatever genuine moment. As soon as it becomes something that you put on Facebook or whatever,
Yeah, dude.
to me that's the same as revealing the like seeing the magic trick.
Oh, yeah, man. And it's sort of like, this is why I prefer the kids like that don't want to hug an adult. I'm like, yeah, trust nobody. You never know who's going to betray you. Yeah, I'm your father. I respect that you've got to the level where you go like, don't touch me, Dad. Don't hug. And I'm like, yeah, good work. You're learning. Keep everyone at arm's length. This place is a fucking bear pit.
Because then when you do hug, it means something.
And also, showing that around people is weakening because you need to keep all your cards to your chest because you might socially engineer a destructive plan on them. You don't know who you're going to need to stab to elevate. Do you know what I mean? So to show the group that you're hugging someone is potentially destroying an ability to lobby against them.
No, but
because they go, hang on, you hugged her.
But being known as but being okay with hugging and setting that up early lets you get closer to stab someone in the back.
Yeah. But then what you're doing is you're cheapening your because you're building other factions, and they see you hugging, and then you're like, when you have your one-on-one chat with them, explaining how we're going to backstab Susie, they're like, hang on, I saw you. You were hugging Susie. And I'm like, the plan's being foiled by public display of affection. But I think people should, it's like what a wedding is. It's atrocious to pull people in and think we give a fuck that you guys are copulating into each other. We don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to know about it. Yeah, you put your dick in her. Whatever. Let's fucking have cake. Just fucking do your dirty shit outside of my scope. It's a wolf. Not everyone wants to be the herd. Some people want to be the black sheep, is what I'm saying.
I just don't understand why you would want to bring paperwork and bureaucracy into any relationship.
Yeah.
There's no benefit to signing a marriage certificate, and I'm pretty sure it still costs like $30 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
For what reason? So they have it on file? What the fuck? That's crazy.
And who wants to own someone like that? If they're so special to you, you don't want them to have a verbal commitment in front of a group going, we need witnesses because you're not backing out of this, Stacey.
Well, and that's what it is. It's a property exchange holdover from...
It's basically, a slave exchange with witnesses. That's what it was about. And then obviously the implicit assumption at that point, because they're religious, that you will now be fucking her exclusively and people should stay the fuck away from your property. It's disgusting. And they're basically going, all the witnesses will be able to validate that contract because all the farmers in the paddock now are aware that you own each other, and that if you're caught copulating with someone else, it will be reported by one of the witnesses. Do you know? And effectively the whole thing is it's crazy to invite your mum and dad and to basically have an unspoken message that, I'm going to bang this woman tonight. Let's have cake. Do you know? It's crazy.
Before the concept of private property, there was no reason to form legal unions that dictated how that private property would be distributed in the future upon your death.
And it's not really the right mindset because we've seen it with the share economy. You got to own it, and Airbnb is much more effective. It should be a lease scenario with all females and males. Use it, abuse it, whatever. Cigarettes in the spa. Do you know what I mean? It should just be used as long as you're engaging. So if you go through a slump mentally and you're annoying, why the fuck does she have to go down with that shit? Why? Because you're depressed for a year and she's got a verbal contract with you. She needs to get the fuck out and get some fresh air and bang some fresh semen. She doesn't want to be around you. You've corrupted. You haven't managed your mental health, Andrew. You're on medication. You're fucking difficult now. She doesn't need to clean up the Airbnb, dude. You just pay your deposit and move on.
Absolutely, man. There's a cleaning fee and that's it. You're done. You fucking exit.
The idea of just having seen how humans deplete, the thought of wanting to be with someone forever is insane because I've seen the waves of how people act And I'm like, you don't want to be there for the dark times. Sucks.
I mean, look, I can understand the party because tradition is its own value, right?
Yeah.
If people value weddings as a ceremony and that's societally something that exists, then you value that as well. That makes absolute sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But to then sign the certificate, like to what end? To what end? Why does it help you at the end of the wedding or fucking after the photos to sit there and sign all the documents and send them away?
Yeah.
So they are filed and you can later pay a lot of money to undo it all, I guess. Like that's the only thing that fucking changes is it's paperwork.
And there's so much, like, if the language was more accurate and it was like, do you want to own him? Do you own him? And like so many of the traditions suck. Like that, I've always said it, like that the dad gives away the wife. The mum should give away the mummy boy son, the little bitch boy.
No, because the father is there's a dowry involved, man. That's what it is. It's about the unification of two families and the and accumulating as much of the private property as possible.
Dude, they can't update that it's a slave trade auction with witnesses. The whole thing's disgusting. And then because it's been in a lot of movies with Disney music and romance music, it's actually disgusting. I don't think in your one passage of consciousness that you should be owned by another being. Like, you don't need to fucking answer to another person on this place. It's your need to feel validated, which is a mistake. You need to validate your fucking self. You don't need some asshole saying that you're okay. You need to fucking get on with your life.
It's called self-esteem, so it's not really my fault that you feel bad.
Yeah. You know what you say? People go, hey, have you met anyone? And go like, yeah, I'm married to a thing called my own self-worth and self-esteem. I found a partner for life. It's called self-worth. Fuck you.
If you're planning a wedding, if you've got one coming up, when the documents are signed, when everything's done and the celebrant's fucked off, just take them. Just tear them up. Just tear them up. No, don't send them. No one will know. It's fine.
Oh, mate, I love that when you get invited to a wedding and they go, do you want to bring a partner? And you go, yeah, I'm going to bring something I call self-esteem. I don't need a partner. It's a thing called self-love. I'm not looking for someone to validate my feelings because most of them are dysfunctional.
That's a very funny way to tell people that you're very alone. It's to be like, yeah, I'll be coming with my own sense of self-worth, thank you. Like, sorry, man, no, we're organizing the catering. Yeah, I'll be there with my own sense of self-worth. You fucking loser.
I don't need someone to validate my thoughts. I don't need to be on a picnic rug. Yeah, I feel weird in groups as well. I'm doing that myself because I've got enough personal growth.
Sorry, man, that's not what I asked, dude. We're just trying to figure out how many chicken, how many fish for the...
and I say, well, look, I'll break it down for you. Basically what I'm saying is I want 2 meals because I'm a fat fuck.
I want 2 meals.
Dude, you know what was so good? Is having like an invisible friend where you basically go and you call it self-worth or self-esteem and you demand at a wedding that there's a separate seat for your self-esteem and then you eat. Do you know what I mean? Like as in you just basically go, no, I'm not alone. I've got the belief of myself here in this invisible woman that comes. No, but I would love that you would actually go, no, you don't get everything just because you're partnered up. I get a second seat and I've got my seat up there. I get a second dessert and and then you're out on the dance floor and you're dancing with your self-esteem, like, which is an invisible woman.
Dancing with myself.
And you go, yeah, I'm not missing out, am I? We're doing the tango and the first dance and you go, couples, you may now be able to proceed to the dance floor. And you go and you act out like you're with someone. Love is in the air. Even when I'm with myself.
It's pretty good to RSVP to a wedding with a +1. And when you're there, where's... they're coming, don't worry. And then just keep the play setting just so you can get that second meal, man.
And you say, look, I'm sick of feeling left out when I make a superior decision, psychological decision than you do, than tethering myself to another fucking crazy. I mean, I don't need Because you get in a relationship, all you do is double your problems. It's fucking. You've got their issues. You scratch your car. Guess what? She scratched her car as well. It's another fucking issue. Yeah. You need the less contact, no people, no worries, whatever the fucking song is.
No woman, no cry, baby.
Oh, dude, I love that. The song people, the cis. People say that it's about not having a woman, but he meant something else, right?
Oh, no woman, no cry. I imagine. I don't know. I'm not.
No. I think the song. It's not like guys sing it. No woman. Like I've got a bitch with 99 problems in one. They think it's like no woman, no cry.
Are you wait? Is the Jay-Z one the one that you think is? Which one's the one?
Yeah. But I think Jimi Hendrix, no woman, no cry was. I think he means that if you don't have like you can't feel without ladies. Like there's some other more progressive meaning.
Well, I'm sure that's it. Why would why would Bob Marley be singing about how not having?
Oh yes, Bob Marley. Why did I say Jimi Hendrix?
Is it because they're both black, dude?
Well, it's hard. But this is what people do. They just put in their own meanings on everything. It happens with stand-up all the time. They're like, oh, I know what you mean about sniffing your fingers. And I'm like, no, you don't.
No woman, no cry means woman don't cry, as in no woman, don't cry. Like,
yeah, that's
you're
it.
Okay. It's a comforting statement.
He's consoling. No woman, no cry. Please, I'll be better. I'll be a better man. And then all the fucking cis. What are the guys?
My brother, the problem is you got the woman make you cry. You got to get away from him, man. That's what you got to do.
What are those guys called?
And we're going to get you on them SSRAs.
What are the woman haters called? The groups?
Gays.
Oh, yeah, that is actually. But what are the other ones called? Those guys that won't sleep with women?
Oh, you mean incels?
Yeah, incels.
That's involuntary, though.
Yeah, but incels use that as their song. No woman, no cry. When it's actually, no, please don't cry. I want to be better. It's amazing how everything can be screwed. And this is what happens with all stand-up. Because people project their own meanings onto all premises.
Yeah, we're all trapped behind the lens through which we view reality.
Yeah, and so they come and yell at you. And I'm like, dude, it's not my problem that you have problems. Like, you are projecting on my act. I am dealing with my own issues. That has nothing to do with racism. It's a fun bit about blacking up.
My favorite is when it's just laughter, like, ah, ha, 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 abortion, ah, ha, 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 ah, ha, ha, racism, ah, ha, ha, pedophilia, ah, ha, ha. Oh, cancer? No, that's not funny. That's where I draw the line because it's something that I'm personally affected by.
And it's because they're not... Introspection is a rare thing these days. The ability to consider that you are doing what I'm saying, that you're in groups, that when someone gives you information, you betray that trust for your own elevation, that you're stealing stories, and that when you go and watch comedy, that you will laugh at racism. But when it gets to cancer, you could film that person. You could watch them like this. Rain Man, he's autistic, he's on the spectrum. Train timetable. And then they go testicular cancer. Whoa. And they're on their phone sending a complaint. He's disgusting. And I'm like, you're all getting fed off Satan's tit, you fucker. All the shit's despicable. Everything I hear in these rooms.
Every critical response, like a message online to a comedian about a joke, it always starts with whatever the subject is. It'll be like testicular cancer, my father. Yeah. Or if it's whatever it is, it's immediately the thing that makes it a personal issue for them.
Yeah.
But there's no way for them to see that trend. No way for them to understand.
And what their fundamental argument, it's left brain, right brain. They don't understand that humor with 50% of the population is a mechanism to process pain. They think
yeah.
being sensible and sincere about pain is how you fix it. That you should acknowledge the pain and go, look, it's important and we need to show love and kindness. The best way for half the population to deal with pain is to go, he'll be dead soon. I guess that means his wife's going to be on the market. Start texting her and people laugh. And it's not mean. It's helping you to process. It's one of the mechanisms you've got as a human being is humor to process this fucking cesspit of hell, which is what I'm saying. Fundamentally, we're horrible people. Life has to kill other life to live. The whole fundamental programming of the simulation is despicable. The shit you have to do to stay alive here and to have a little bit of a laugh about it, but Lord forbid you go on stage and don't take it sincere or be earnest about their problems.
Yeah, if you can joke about a thing, you can make it easier to talk about with someone.
Dude.
If someone's dealing with an issue and you can make fun of it, you can find humor, that's where you can begin dialogue and you can begin to reach understanding.
And what's so severe about it's a class thing because it's only the privilege that haven't learnt that. Because if you're poor and your dad's an alcoholic and he's gambled the money away on Christmas morning, you laugh. Where is he? Guess this. He's gambled it all away and he's fucking left. And then you're laughing. Where's daddy? And you're doing act outs and all the kids are like, I'm daddy. Ghost of daddy Christmas past. You're all laughing. But the privileged people never learn that. So they're like, then suddenly they hear you talking about, you know, your dad that's absconded, that you never laugh more than in a domestic violence or an abusive scenario or lower socioeconomic thing. You have to laugh, which is why those big continents, Ireland, these areas are very funny because it's fucking traumatic to live there. But then the privileged people that haven't experienced life are like, how could you laugh about something so serious? Well, you have to. When you wake up on Christmas morning and there's no one there and it's just the three of you kids, you better start laughing about how bad your parents are.
Yeah, because the inverse to talking about something and joking about it is creating a taboo.
Yeah.
It just removes the problem from a solution.
Oh, yeah. So Christmas morning, mum and dad aren't there because they're meth heads. And then you take that very seriously. And I'm like, your only option to move through this is humor. You have to. You will find no better joke than those three kids that woke up on Christmas morning and no one was there. Some of the best riffs you will ever hear. You know it. And it's only the little fucking snotty-nosed privileged cunt that comes up to you and says, how dare you laugh about these situations that we've never experienced. I'm only new to trauma, and I think being earnest about it.
I'll have you know that the first bad thing to ever happen to me happened to me very recently.
Yeah.
And I'm not handling it well. I don't like this.
That's what you should do when they complain. Oh, I see you're new to trauma. Welcome.
Our first day?
I'll sit back and allow you to acclimatise and realise you'll come to the understanding that dark humour is your only way out now.
Oh, man, yeah. If you're not at the point where you can joke about a thing, you are fucked. Like, you are so far away on your journey of processing it.
Effectively, it is one of the most disgusting things you can do is to talk to a victim because you're a new victim and try explain victimhood, which is effectively what you're doing. You're going to a comedian and saying, how can you laugh about this? And you're like, welcome, get warm, the water's great. You'll come to know what I'm doing. You're a newbie here. Shh, quiet. You've obviously had your first trauma quite late in life. You'll adjust.
It's sad because those people who, for them, it's like, my dad died, he had testicular cancer. It's like, man, you, like, it's going to get worse. Like, this is, you have a lot to go through if you're at the point where you can't talk about it yet. You can't talk about the thing yet. You are fucked. You're so fucked.
You should actually go, God, man, I'm envious. You have lived in such a bubble. You lucky fuck. To be 52 and to be reacting to pain like this, you fucking privileged fuck. My God, let me give you a heads up. everything dies. It's all going to corrupt. It all corrupts and corrodes. It's all going to fucking melt in front of you. Reality will become nothing. Everything you love and know will be destroyed in your lifetime. You lucky fuck to have no turbulence to the age of 52. Fuck you.
Oh man, dude, to be so lucky that one bad thing stands out amongst all the rest.
Oh.
Like, this one bad thing is fucking notable. Like, that means that there's nothing else going on.
And how is the insanity to be talking to a true victim, right? A comedian that's probably had drug addict parents, been molested, had the worst life conceivable, and you go like, how dare you? My friend, she had type 1 breast cancer and she had them removed. And she does not look as good in a bathing suit anymore, you fucking pig. And you're like, I was passed around. I was in a sex ring. My dad fucking shot himself in the head in front of me, you fucker. I'm allowed to joke. I fucking earned the right to joke about this. How dare you? She doesn't look the same and the scars are disgusting. And you're like, you animal to come up to someone and think that your pain, what I'm guaranteeing you, if someone's going to be flippant about pain like that on stage, they have experienced fucking mountains of pain. They have earned the right and the passport to be dismissive and to joke and to be surface on this stuff. Look, there are exceptions, but the person has earned the right to be flippant about it like that, I think.
Yeah.
Because they've lived a half life.
Of course, and they're doing a huge favor to make something easier to talk about.
Fun.
To bring a subject to light.
It's basically you're introducing that trauma or that person new to pain to the 12-step program. And the first thing is to dismiss it by making light of it. That is the first way. It's like when something bad happens in your head, you reprogram it so it's smaller, it's sillier, it looks like this. Obviously, you don't escalate negative shit. There is no pain in this world. It's just your choice to respond. You know what I mean? Like there is no suffering. It's purely your reaction that creates it. You can just dismiss everything. You don't actually have to. You don't have to be in pain. You choose to be in pain.
I think you do. I think you do have to suffer. I think the suffering's inevitable, man.
That's what I said to that taxi driver.
Which man?
He goes, "Don't you want to be happy?" And I'm like, I said, pain. You know, all learning comes from hurt and pain.
Well, yeah, all suffering is teaching you how to deal with the suffering because that's all that happens.
And I said, I've got a short time here, so I want to do the most growth possible. So I basically want pure pain the whole time.
Man, it's like everyone over 60, about what, 15 years ago, everyone over 60 was complaining about like fucking mental health. They're always talking about depression on the TV.
Yeah.
They've got ads for fucking, so just fucking buck up, man.
Yeah.
Every effort in mental health awareness was met with resistance by people over a certain age because they were not able to talk about something that they all definitely fucking had.
Yeah, yeah. But I respect their attitude because you come to know thyself by keeping the pain at max. You really harden up. Do you know what? If you take that sort of stoic approach, right? So that if something bad happens and you choose to dismiss it and never ever articulate it and just ignore it, that is such elevated psychology.
No, man, that's not stoicism. That's ignorance. Stoicism is to understand and then accept, not to be like, I'm not sad. I'm never sad.
No.
I have my life, and that's how I manifest it.
No, but I misworded it. I'm saying if you choose to react to bad things, if you just let them happen like water over a duck's back and you acknowledge that you do not actually have to react to your environment down here, you don't have to. You don't actually have to react to anything.
Yeah, oh yeah, you don't need to let it. You don't need to let it cripple you or do
no, but nothing
or really do have any sort of like manifestation or
you can
change.
become totally detached from everything, the simulation, and just occasionally smell your fingers to bring you back into the now. You literally, do you know, it was like I went for a run and I'm trying to get fit finally, but I'm like, I realized flies bring you out of flies are like almost part of the simulation to distract you, because as soon as you get into a mindful state, there's a fly up your fucking nose. So what I did is I went for a run with a fly net. And I was in fucking nirvana, dude, because I was in there and I wasn't in the now. I was in like my own mindfulness. Do you know what I mean? And there were 38 flies hanging on the screen, but they weren't able to touch my nose to short circuit the euphoria that I was feeling. And I was,
this is such a strictly Western Australian problem, man. It's like, I understand it as a concept, but it's not something I've ever experienced.
so I was able to be in a mindful state, because what normally happened is I'd have a passage of thought where I'm philosophizing or thinking of something, but then a fly will go into your nose and you'll be like, fuck, what was I thinking about? Happiness? Acceptance of pain? What are we talking about? Fuck off, fly. You're fucking okay. Fucking you start slapping your head and you're like, I can't think. But here I was with this fly net and I could feel them weighing heavy. They were holding the fly screen on my...
This is it, man. This is it. You understand that there are flies. And so to deal with this, you have used a fly, which I assume is what, like a hat? You've got a hat with a net with netting coming off of it?
Yeah, with a net fully around. And do you know the only problem is because it's a different action, running, people had to point it out because the herd are like, hang on, we haven't endorsed fly nets. And they're like, wow, crazy.
But you've understood the problem, which is the flies.
Yeah.
You've accepted it, and then you've dealt with the problem.
Yeah, but what I was talking
and now
about...
and then you're stoic.
You can see the herd mentality in that instance, because I was doing an unexpected behavior, which is like just acknowledging how fucking bad flies are in Perth, that you have to actually wear a net over your head and then run in the park with a full scarecrow's net over your head so you don't get... And then every person I walked past, I ran past, because I'm walking a lot of it, walked past, would point out that it was unusual.
You mean if you're just walking through a park with netting on your face, people must have thought you were like keeping bees or something.
Dude, they thought, so I looked like a beekeeper, and not a single person was able to let me just fucking acknowledge that there's a fly problem in Perth. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, why are you dressed like that? There's no problem. And I'm like, look at your nose, dude. You got 70 flies in and out of your fucking nose, short-circuiting your consciousness. Fuck you.
The initial visual that you conjured, and then the visual that you conjure after of you walking through a park in a beekeeper outfit.
Dude, do you know what I realized on the run? I was like, I need to get this net thicker so people can't recognize me. And then I suddenly had this idea, and I'm like, why am I just dressed like this for the run? I should look like this always.
Yeah, man.
I should always be in a beekeeper's suit.
Constant disguise. Yeah.
So that when I go to Coles, no one recognizes me. They can't say, oh, Andrew, how's it going? How's the divorce going? They're just like, who the fuck is that beekeeper that seems to be eating cheese from the dairy aisle, shoving it up the netting? And I'm like, you can't do that, sir. And I'm like, your laws don't apply to me. I'm B-Man. I'm B-Man. I'm returning to my hive shortly.
Just shoplifting at Coles as people try and stop you. Buzz.
Buzz off. Do you know what's crazy is that, right? It is so rare to see an outlier. This is how homogenizing humans are. If someone went to the shops dressed as a B-Man, it's wild. You would end up banned from the shop. You're like, we cannot have a man dressed in a beehive net wandering around not interacting with us. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? If this net was thicker and no one can recognize you, you're free from the simulation.
Why are you worried about people recognizing you, man?
Because then you don't have to interact with anyone ever again.
But you don't have to interact with people if they recognize you.
Oh, yeah. So you go to the shops. Andrew, is that you? Yeah, I'm Jenny, your high school teacher.
That's what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's still an issue of of your own self-worth or esteem being affected by this. You shouldn't care.
I don't care. It's literally the simulation is intrusive. If you go like this, fuck off. She'll go, hey, I'm your high school teacher of year 10. How you been? Fuck off, whore.
I think that if you're a thicker net is not going to make people less likely to ask questions.
No, but I'm saying like you can actually have safe passage without someone intruding with their thoughts on you. You can be free.
But I don't think that's what I'm saying. I think that like being unrecognizable is only going to make people more inquisitive from fear.
Yeah. Then they're gonna. I want like that with a voice modulator that makes me sound like a bee, and I'm like.
What you need is that like you need to find a version of that repels people completely. Like you want people in the shops who do recognize you to not approach you.
Do you know what I know what it is? You dress, it's Mrs. Doubtfire, you dress as an old housewife, which is the most
ignored people in the society, man. Middle-aged woman.
A grey-haired housewife, and you watch how hard it is to get anyone to engage with you.
You have toilet paper just coming out of the back of your pants. People who do recognize something like that makes people, when they do see you, like they're too embarrassed, like they wouldn't want to be associated with you.
Dude, you know what you need is, and I think it's basically the true savants of our life, is all you need, help, please help, I'm homeless, on sign, and people will avoid you. Please help, I'm homeless is the quickest way to have a peaceful shop. Hey, well, you've got that on a sign. But it is so funny that in this random simulation, just the people feel like they need to engage with you in this moment. Like it's insane to me that when you're going through this thing, that just the random characters that come in and out. It's the weirdest thing, life. Hey, just randomly, you're at a shop and then you just meet some weird character and they'll say, oh, plums are good this season. It's just so weird to me, dude.
Oh, man.
I'm like, where the fuck did this person come from?
Yeah, the random people commenting on stuff, but then those are always lonely people. And that's sad. You know what I mean? It's so frustrating. This is the biggest issue I had with this was with the sausage dogs. You take them wherever you were, people would come up to me and just ask the same fucking questions over and over and over.
Oh,
man.
dude.
How old are they? What are their names? What's that? What's the color of that one? Because Tiny's dappled, so they'd point at him. And you get so sick of it. So fucking sick of answering the same thing over and over again.
It's the same experience with kids, right? That all I ever hear is, oh, you're the best dad. You're the best dad. I'm like, what? Dropping them at school. I'm like, what are the other dads doing?
Yeah.
Oh, you're the best dad. Oh, my God, do you make lunch for them? You're the best dad. I'm like, how low is the standard for dads?
Man, these are people not dealing with their own trauma of their dad physically abusing them and then not being there Christmas morning.
They'll tell me, you're the best dad. And I'm like, yeah, I've just picked them up from T-ball. I think you need to get a grip. I don't think that's anything beyond like bare minimum fucking shit.
15 years ago, though, just to go back to that mental health awareness thing, like, can you remember the idea of saying to someone, yeah, I'm dealing with some depression or I'm dealing with anxiety, whatever, would have been crazy. It would have been crazy to fucking bring that up. What I mean is that the whole mental health awareness drive, all those ads, everything, did so much.
But dude, there's such an interesting, there's catharticism, there's a cathartic sort of thing of talking about stuff, but a lot of it is like this stoicism, like you're indulging the feeling doesn't often fix it. It's better off to process and move on.
In relation to what we were saying about being able to address and talk about trauma or whatever.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, I'm not disputing it.
I'm not saying that everything about it is healthy. I'm just saying that the
look, it's so important to tackle your psychology and work out like the destructive, repetitive thinking and the way you are.
Or at least to have some fucking sense of awareness, so that you aren't one of those 60-year-olds who refuses to talk about depression but also beats their kids.
There's also a rush that comes from indulging in that. Do you know? So it's a balancing act. You got to be a temporary visitor, because it can become and consume your whole life is about your problems.
But do you think that's like do you think that is an overcorrection? Like that's part of the process? Like part of the process of figuring out your own mental health or your own psychology is to initially when it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah.
When you know barely fucking anything, you think you know everything, so you talk about it constantly.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the more you begin to understand, and the further through the process you are, the less annoying you are about it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, man. Like whether you resolve it or whether it becomes all-consuming, because it is. There's nothing more like good. Talking about this stuff is like a high and an addiction in its own way. Do you know what I mean? To just be immersed in your own. You know what I mean? It's all-consuming. Once you start understanding that you're depressed and your feelings and your moods, that becomes your personality in a way.
But do you think that the people, because I think the people who it is everything for, like where it is all consuming, I think that's just an indication of them not having sorted it out at all, or not having dealt with it. That's a huge red flag. If someone's constantly talking about their anxiety, it means that no matter how many fucking years of therapy they've done, or what they claim to have done about it, or how well they're handling it, they're not fucking handling it.
Dude, it's exactly the same with the recovering addict, the smoker, the sex addict. They basically are so dysfunctional that they don't realize purveying and talking about how good it is, the 12-sec program, they've given it up. They're still feeble minds, because they used to be an alcoholic, that's all they were, and now all they are is an annoying cunt that doesn't shut up about giving up alcohol. Yeah. And I'm like, you're still a one-faceted human being. Like, you haven't learned how to compartmentalize feelings and have moments. Like, you should have moments where you address your depression and your self-worth and stuff. But so many people, it becomes everything. All I ever hear is how they fucking got fucking PTSD, and that's who they are, or I gave up alcohol, or I'm a vegan. Do you know, it's the same idea of that vegan guy. Do you know what I mean? They push, all they do is talk about vegan, and then if everyone became vegan, they would just move on to a new topic. They've built a life around.
Yeah, they would have to find something else.
And what I'm saying to you is, people that have lost direction suddenly build a whole life around them fixing their mental health, becomes their personality. And we're like, fucking shut up.
Yeah, but that's it's just an indicator that they've not cracked it at all. Then maybe they're not even on the right track. They're just they're finding reasons to not do the work and to not figure out what's actually genuinely wrong.
Yeah. Because if you do the work, you eventually just move on. It's exactly like everyone that's successful, say in business, they're not trying to promote it hard on Twitter. If you're a billionaire crypto trader, it's someone that doesn't want to do the work and wants to just convince other people to give them money.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the mental health person, the person that keeps talking about the cold baths and how this has helped them and this has helped them, is just resistant to actually addressing their internal fucking wiring issue and try to fix it permanently. They're just in there like, oh, I'm now on this new diet.
Because people who are not drug addicts do not talk about how they're not drug addicts all the time. It's not a constant focus on not being a drug addict, but people who are very, very addicted to drugs and in recovery are constantly talking about the recovery process and how they're trying to not be addicted to drugs anymore.
And they haven't fixed their addictive personality, because it's the same with the smoker. The one that's so quick to tell you that they've been 3 months sober or 3 months not smoking.
Dude,
I'm
when
like,
you're talking to someone and they're like, I haven't had a cigarette in 6 weeks. You're like, wow, Are you fucking thinking about it all the time?
Yeah.
Holy
And
shit.
that's what I said to a guy. He said, I haven't smoked in 3 weeks. And I'm like, as soon as you get drunk tonight, I'm going to put a fucking nicotine patch in your back and push you back in because you haven't got over it.
Because if you've seen comics or you've done it yourself, like asking the crowd if they smoke and asking who's quit, the one who's like, I haven't smoked in 2 months, very, very quick.
Dude.
But you'll find some guy up the back and you'll be like, you'll be like, yeah, I quit. And you'll be like, how long? He's like, oh, fuck, man, no, 30 years?
Yeah, dude, that's me. I quit. I haven't told anyone. I don't know when I quit. I was on the gum for at least 6 or 7 or 8 months. I haven't smoked for like a long time.
And when you were on the gum, we talked about the gum a lot because it was...
Yeah, dude.
Because that's when it was at the front of your mind. When you were on the gum all the time.
Oh, yeah, dude. All I talked about was how I was trying to quit.
Yeah, because you were struggling. It was a fixation.
Oh, your point is something, because you're still struggling deeply with your mental health is why it's such a topic. Eventually, when you get resolution, you don't feel the need to keep emailing friends ice bath vouchers.
Well, yeah, because that's kind of the thing, right? If someone's talking about
It's a big problem for them.
their therapy process and their mental health issues and what they're dealing with, and that is their whole personality,
Yeah.
it probably needs to be their personality because they're fucking not there yet, man. Like, it's the person who's at the supermarket going, man, plums, I love plums.
Yeah.
They're looking to have an interaction because they're fucking lonely.
And you're right. And it's obviously the full growth is when you compartmentalize it and you choose to whether you react to your depression for that day and you choose your own behaviors. But obviously these really sad, lost people, it becomes all consuming. And they're just telling everyone about how they've found this new this new outlet.
That's the saddest thing is someone with depression telling you about how well they're coping with their depression.
Oh, dude.
I'm actually doing great. I've never felt better. I've been going on runs and we've been doing the cryo freezing thing. That's actually been really good. And my therapist has taught me this new I snap a little rubber band and then I have a yogurt.
Dude, and you know what's so funny? They're always like, I've been doing mindfulness and meditation. And I'm like, that's weird because when you describe it, you're with racing thoughts and you can't really react. You're not letting me interrupt you and you seem very intense.
I'm just really in the moment right now. That's the thing about me right now is I'm feeling really in the moment. I'm feeling really mindful.
And I found this new mindfulness and it's Headspace app and it's making me very calm and relaxed. And I'm like, you seem fucking really intense, dude. For someone that's just found ice baths, you are manic, bro. You are manic. Dude, you know what they're all trying to do? They're trying to convince themselves that they're no longer an addict. By vocalizing it. They're in there and you can tell they're trying to convince you and themselves that they don't smoke anymore. And I'm like, well, that's weird, dude, because I was sitting here having quite a good night riffing about this gypsy and you came in and told me that you were 3 weeks sober and I said, you're the one, you know what I mean? You're obviously the one that's fucking obsessed about your smoking because why you fucking bring it up? What do you think I give a shit? I don't care what you die of, mate.
Do you remember ages ago we were talking about we had that riff about the not gay ATMs?
Yeah.
I used to suffer with a gay panic disorder, but now that I use not gay ATMs, I think it's pretty clear to everybody that I'm not gay.
Yeah.
I used to wake up in the middle of the night with gay panic because of my gay panic disorder. I was always worried about people thinking that I was gay.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of panic about it. It's it, man. You're talking about the thing constantly because it's all you can fucking think about.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that's the classic, right? The homophobe is always gay.
Yeah.
Because basically it doesn't bother someone else. Like you just don't think about it. The way they're infatuated, obsessed. I'm going, I wonder what those fucking dirty dogs are doing now. What do you think they do after the gay Mardi Gras? They're all fucking jerking each other off and licking each other's butts. And I'm like, I honestly haven't thought about it, dude. Like, it looked like fun. Like, I just walked past. It's not a big deal. I said, I don't know why you are on the internet yelling about it, getting so angry. Like, who gives a fuck? Do you know, like, they get infatuated talking about it. What do you think those fucking little arse lickers are doing now? They're out there sniffing butts and fucking, it's crazy, dude. Because it's almost guarantees an emotive reaction to something means that you can contemplate it in your psyche.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that plagues you. Because if you have no reaction, it truly is like, which is what it should be, total dismissing of other people because you couldn't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about anything, really. It's irrelevant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Like, do whatever the fuck you want. Just fuck off, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm really not interested in any of their choices, which is the same objection I have to the wedding. I'm like, I don't care who you fuck. Just, do you know what I mean? I don't care. I'm focused on fucking who I fuck, okay? Why do we have to make a big fucking thing, a song and dance that you found love?
Is that why you don't want to go to weddings, you're saying? Because you don't want to think about who someone else is having sex with?
Yeah, dude, and I'm like, why do we have to make a big song and dance? You've met someone, good on you. Okay? We've all got shit going on.
We've all met people, man. We've all met people. Chill out.
Dude, imagine that response. You get a message, hey, I'd like to cordially invite you to a wedding, and you're like, look, fuckhead, we've all got shit going on. We've all got things going on. We've all got our own love interests. I've obviously got my invisible friend, Stacey, my self-esteem. But I'd love it if you get angry. We've all got things going on. That's someone, the person that gets angry about weddings wants love. That's maybe why I'm so angry. I'm jealous that I don't have that. And that's why I'm lashing out at your ceremony and going, fuck off, show off, fucking dickhead, cliche picnic. The most distressed person is the one, I love watching the people bursting into tears at weddings because you realize how desperate they are for a connection. Do you know that? You know when they're just howling, crying, and it's just obviously something they want so much. Because I feel nothing really. I'm like, whatever. The cake sucks. This is so boring.
Man, that's what I think about. That's what I think about when I see people, like when you see a movie or a video of someone at their kid's funeral and they're howling and they're crying, and it's like, man, you just want your fucking kid back.
Oh yeah. Well, fair enough. But, you know the.
That's why they're sad. They just want their kid.
Dude, you do feel bad because you do see it a lot with when people have kids as well. You see a lot of people in tears and they're obviously struggling to conceive or there's an issue, but they're all so obviously affected.
Or the difference between people pre-kid and then post-kid. Like someone pre-kid, someone like myself, watch whatever, not really be affected, but then someone who has had children, a scene in a film where something bad happens to a kid or a kid's reunited and it's just fucking waterworks because those evil brain chemicals have tricked you into loving.
Dude, and because of their privilege, they're like, ever since I had kids, I can't watch. I'm like, whatever, dude, harden the fuck up. I like kidnapping movies. They rule. Fucking break, dude.
I can't watch child pornography ever since I had kids. I just think about what if it was my kid. I feel really bad.
I'm egging them on. I'm going, as long as they're not molested, it's awesome. I'll come and reconvene when they're 18.
Man, why do you draw the line there, dude? Dude, it's just because you've got kids, man. That's why you can't watch other children be molested.
If you've been hurt, you don't feel it because you hear it all the parents, like, because they've had such a bubble life. They're like, I didn't know how, mate, until you've had kids, you'll never feel like I feel. You'll never see like I see. And I'm like, what a fucking wanker in your bubble life. I'm like, fucking hell, dude. You barely even put your toe in the water of human feelings. You're telling me that a baby brought you this, and they're always patronizing everyone. You'll never cry like you do once you've got 2 kids, my boy.
But dude, they are right, man. Because
bullshit.
No, they are right.
Nothing changed for me, dude. Fuck all change.
You just said you wouldn't watch kids be molested anymore. So I think something has fucking changed, man.
I didn't say that. I said that I don't think that I got any further engagement into my feelings or my human experience by having kids. I think that's fucking shit. I've got more that I could lose. I worry about losing them now because there's extra feelings there. But I think it's so rude to tell someone without kids that they don't know how to feel.
I agree with that. But I think when they say when they talk about how once you have kids, you know what it is? I think that's a bad expression of what they're actually trying to describe.
Yeah.
Because what they're actually trying to describe is like before I had kids, I didn't have this concept of love that was so great.
Yeah.
That it's actually ruined. It's distorted my lens through which I perceive things, and now I'm fucked because what has happened to them is they've had kids. Their brain has released all those chemicals and created all those pathways and fucked them up because it needs to. So they love and protect their children.
Yeah.
But now because of that, things that would have never set them off in the past now set them off.
Dude.
They're weak pussies.
And this is what I was saying to you. Anyone that's gone through trauma has already found that level of compassion in their life. It's the privileged bubble cunts that are suddenly like, I never felt like this about, now I just cry when I hear a war and suffering in the world. And I'm like, just now that I've got kids, I feel it. The kid that woke up on Christmas and no parent was there felt like that when he was 8. He's always felt like that.
Yeah.
He's always implicitly felt compassion for humanity. He's always been engaged and he's always felt a sense of love and feeling for other people.
Before I had children, I had no real concept of suffering, but now I can imagine what if they suffered and that feels bad?
Yeah. And before it was all about me and I was selfish and I went on ski trips and I'm a private school privileged piece of shit. Now that I've actually managed to feel for someone else it's actually so white, privileged, despicable to say, like, when I had kids for the first time, my narcissism, it wasn't just about me. I haven't been living just for me in my privileged bullshit bubble. I'm like, you disgusting fucking pig of a human being. You disgusting fucking pig to tell me that you basically didn't care about anything but yourself until you were given an example that showed you how to be a human by having something that you cared about more than yourself. I'm saying to you, like someone that has been forced to confront life with pain cares about other people. Always. They always did.
Yeah, but then they won't they won't get upset just because they watch a movie where a kid's kidnapped.
Yeah, I'm not saying they won't, but I'm saying it's early inception of it. Someone that's had a tough life has gratitude, which means they're appreciative of small things that are given them and small moments to live in the now. And these privileged fuckers, first time they've ever been in the now is when they've got a baby. And the thing is, it's corrupted immediately because they think it's mini-me, a chance to succeed with the second version.
Oh, thank God, I can try again.
Dude, and they selfishly think, maybe I'll make Australian netball team now with this little one.
She looks strong. She's little, but she looks strong already.
And it quickly corrupts. Mini-me will do everything I didn't do. But anyway, I do find it fucking rude to go and tell someone that you know more about the human experience because you got a baby.
That's the bit that I think is they're inaccurately describing their own feelings. Like they're trying to express how monumentous it has been a shift for them. But instead it comes out like, you'll never understand. Because like we were talking about before, it's very difficult. Like the only way people can really think is in relative terms.
Yeah.
You have to be standing on someone else's neck to feel tall.
Dude, and that's what they say, like, you literally have never experienced a feeling like this. I'm like, guess what? The boy that felt his stepdad put a cigarette on the back of his neck has experienced intense feelings. And he goes, when my mum was released from prison and we realized we were going back in with her, guess what? That felt as intense as your baby experience. Where we got to be reunited with my mum after 5 years of me being in foster homes. That was quite intense.
Yeah, I actually felt something so intense that I have developed a dissociative coping strategy. So until your fucking kid makes you disassociate, until you love your kid so much that you literally have to disassociate or you'll...
Yes, that's the point.
The love for your children is the love for my children is so traumatic, I can't experience it. I disassociate every time they walk into a room.
It's like someone having...
Dude, I'm an absent father because I disassociate. I love my children too much.
Yeah.
It's too different. It's too traumatic for me to be around them.
Dude, I can't risk it. And it's that moment where they come and tell you and go, welcome to the human condition, you surface dweller.
I think it's pretty sick that the brain tricks you. It has this whole mechanism set up for you to have kids, and then as soon as you do, it's like, okay, fucking go, shoot out the empathy hormones, make some pathways. This cunt needs to care. It rewires you completely. It's so good.
How crazy is it to view that as a simulation? Who developed the game, right? That they want it. Everyone's talking about kumbaya and we all hug hand and hold hands, but they basically withhold empathy until it's to procreate and then look after your own spawn. Like that empathy should have been available for random people. Do you know the world would be a much better place?
You should have that empathy when you look on news.com and you see the Palestinian children in those hospitals that Israel's been bombing.
Dude, and that's what I'm saying to you. It's been designed to be nasty because they withhold that chemical until it's self-serving, and then they'll release it because you'll look after your own progeny. But I'm like, that chemical existed all the time and you could have just been a nicer person. But I'm saying the game designer had that little sachet and only released it when it benefits you.
Well, yeah, if you felt that way the whole time, dude, how would you kill? How would you be able to? You got to go out there and kill, man.
Yeah.
You got to get out there. You got to rape, take, steal, and kill, motherfucker.
That's what I'm saying to you. So then when you judge yourself at the end of the day for your morality and you think that it was an empathy bag that was withheld from you because you never had children, that sucks because you die as a selfish fuck and you're like, hey, God, you know that little sachet at the back that helps me protect kids? I know I didn't have kids, but how about you release that for my cat? I'm a cat lady.
You can also just be an empathetic person without having the children, and that's totally fine. It's just, it is crazy to go through and be like, yeah, I had kids, and then just everything changed, man. My fucking, like, I was a bit lost before, and like, I didn't have my priorities straight, but then I had kids, and I really got it together. It's like, no, man, you had kids, and then your brain did exactly what it's wired to do, and it rewired itself so you wouldn't eat, fuck, or kill your kids.
So there is a truth in what they're saying because that kindness that's released in you of trying to look after someone over and above yourself gets released when you have kids, and then you get to die saying how good a person you were because you did everything for that boy.
But no.
And the person with the barren vagina that can't have a child never gets to see that side of herself.
But no. I think that person who has that kind of struggle, or is that connected? Usually it probably is quite empathetic, without needing the kids to trigger. I think you can achieve it without the kids. The people who find it fucking crazy that at the change pre-kid and post-kid, those people, maybe they couldn't have got.
They might not have done it, but
yeah.
But then you realize all that you are is just all that you experienced. And so say you're a rich, privileged arsehole that went private school and nothing happened. You never get to know yourself. It's impossible. So then you die and you just think, fuck, I felt empty and worthless and I'm not very kind and I'm selfish. And you're like, yeah, the world screwed you, dude. You didn't get experiences to learn the lessons. You didn't get to go to the right courses. You got enrolled in self-indulgence and wankery.
Like a suffering privilege almost.
Yeah, and then it's like, you poor bastard. You didn't get to feel what it's like on Christmas morning when no one's there. So you never got to know how deep and true you are as a person and how much you can rally to help your other siblings and to make that still a special day and to find something in yourself to push through. And so then you go, well, how can you judge yourself for your life? Because you just are a victim to your circumstance. You are what you were surrounded by.
I think you're right with the victim of circumstance thing, because if you don't have those struggles, you say you never get to know yourself, but is there actually anything to know? Or like,
no, there's nothing.
Is the act of learning about yourself the thing that creates the self that you are exploring?
Yeah, and then it's all like the outcomes are knowable. Like you can behaviorize the buttons are released. When you have kids, looking after and like lowering yourself and then looking up is triggered. But what I'm saying to you is all the outcomes are already knowable. The way the human responds to various patterns of input is knowable. So I'm like, why are we running this fucking simulation over and over again? I can tell you if you give me X, Y, Z, it equals, like the formulas are all predictable. No, it's not even that random down here. And then I'm like, this whole thing's pointless.
It's not random. It's not random at all, man. Everyone thinks they're very special. Everyone's very, very special. But
dude, and God's up there saying, like, he's got an ant farm and he goes, if you put ants in water, they drown. And I'm like, how many thousands of years and millions of years do you need to demonstrate that ants under stress will behave self-serving and someone that's neglected will start to get bored? I'm like, yeah, we get it, fuckhead. You do all the chemical wiring. We all get it. Like, we're going to react a certain way. You could have flipped it, and then you've obviously got serial killers that it's wired the wrong way and then they hate themselves. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you miswired them. You fucked them, the poor bastards. They got what they felt like the love of hugging a child by stabbing someone in an alleyway. And then I'm like, you the fucker that wired them wrong. Do you know, if they had a better wiring, they wouldn't fucking have been driven to do that. So I'm like, yeah, great. You demonstrated that a guy that feels love by killing will kill. So what the fuck's the point of this shit?
Have you seen like I think it's called conversation coding in therapy?
No.
So what they do for a lot of talk therapy, after fucking decades of research, is they're able to code conversations. For I know about this in relation to personality disorders. I think.
Yeah.
They have coded conversations. It's basically that people are so predictable and they react in such predictable ways that they have entire models of what a conversation with somebody who suffers from a personality disorder looks like.
Oh, I love this.
When they're making progress. So when they're making progress, the client therapist relation or conversation will go like this. It'll be like EA 106 is what the therapist will say, which will be something like, so how did you deal with that? And then the patient will respond with B6 403, and it's like it's something. It's a coded phrase or term or whatever that expresses something that they've modeled to mean that they're making progress.
This means that AI can bring all human beings to equilibrium, because what it could do is just run all the variables and explain to the privileged boy about compassion and this and that and everything they'd say. So you can eventually go into a brain formatter that will regulate you to nirvana, because what it will do is just run every input you say. It'll do E6, E5, E7 like chess and bring you into the checkmate position. So effectively, you won't have a psychiatrist. It doesn't matter about the reads. It's the 40,000 feet, right? Coming to know thyself. And basically, an AI guide will be able to untangle all the thoughts to bring the Rubik's Cube into equilibrium.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? If you got E6, E10.
Yeah. You're not. Your problems are so standard and ubiquitous and predictable that however fucking all the infinite words and phrases and things that you could possibly say and ways you could respond to questions has been modeled and coded so we can tell if you're making progress in your therapy session.
And when they're trying to confuse you and go, no, you don't understand. It was the way she spoke to me. And you're like, I do understand. E6 to position 4.
Yeah. yeah.
And they're like, what? And you're like, E6 to position 4. No, but it's the tone of it. And they're always talking down to me. E6 position 4. We're trying to build up your self-worth, duckhead. It's E6. But then what happens if AI... Eventually, it's insane to think you'd have a psychologist. You would obviously have AI just running algorithms and pulling all the chess pieces into the right moves by explaining philosophy to you and untangling the net of shit ideas that you managed through avoiding work and being lazy and being despicable and self-interest and all the fucking obscure thoughts that managed to manifest in your net of a mind, they can unwind it all. But then I'm like, what's the point of it all? Everyone's found nirvana, and then I'm like, blow the whole place up. It's a fucking completed experiment.
I mean, that should be the point of it all, though, right? Is so that we can all find nirvana. That would be great.
Yeah, but
that would be sick.
This is what I said to the taxi driver. Nirvana,
Dude, this taxi driver, this poor guy.
Nirvana is pain and suffering because the
Hello,
more you...
Mr. Wolf. Thank you so much for teaching me about nirvana.
Dude, you know what's been amazing is once I became aware of my rating on Uber, 33. I had 33 one-star views. And in the last 4 weeks since I've been aware of it, I've gone to 38. I've got 5 new ones.
Oh, wait, you've had 5 more one-star reviews.
I've had statistical... it's changed out of the standard deviation. There's 5 against 33 historically over years. It's now become a real problem. Like now I'm getting fuckloads. Now that I'm aware...
This is the problem, man. Some people, some people find out that their conversations are coded and very predictable. And they're like, well, then fuck you. I'm putting a fork on the toaster. How's about that? How about I put a fork on the toaster?
And that's actually what's happening. Because I now know that they grade me, I'm way over the top thankful. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the journey. You powerful man. Do you know what I mean? And they know that. They think I'm mocking them. Thank you. The way you drove was impeccable. An Uber driver amongst Uber drivers. A king amongst peasants. I love you, sir. Let me lick your toes. Kiss your toes. Thank you for this great safe passage from the CBD to suburbia sprawl.
It's like you're Schrodinger's Uber passenger, man.
And I'm using big language. Thank you, kind sir, for safe passage from CBD to suburban sprawl. Once again, you have delivered on your mission, Zelda. And they're like, what the fuck's wrong with this cart? 1 star.
Actually, Zelda's the princess, man. Link is the player.
But dude, you're like it's what's it called? Is it fucking like observation?
Imagine if the Uber driver ever said at the end, unfortunately, your princess is in another castle. Just had like bad, end of games. That's what I'd do if I did Uber driver. The final messages in games, I'd say that to people randomly. Thank you, Zelda, for your quest to find the golden slipper.
It's observer effect. You're suffering from observer effect. You Schrodinger's, you learned about the experiment, and that has changed the way that you interact.
Yeah, dude. So I realize I'm a rat in an experiment, and now I'm putting my dick in the sampling machine, going bam, 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 and I'm aware of what's going on, and I'm waving to them through the glass. I see you, and it's gone all crazy. I'm hitting the red buttons, I'm hitting the blue buttons.
Yeah, you found out that you're a rat in the maze, and now you're trying to give little kisses to the person running the maze experiment,
and now-
they're like, well, this rat's broken. We're gonna get a new rat. They're suspicious of this rat.
The rat keeps waving to us. I'm doing so well in this experiment. Hey guys, am I doing okay?
Have I found the cheese faster than Jeff? Because I've actually been working on the...
Hey guys, just want to clarify. Are we meant to be eating the cheese or not eating the cheese? I just want to work out what's the hypothesis?
I've been min-maxing the way I get through the maze, so hopefully I'm doing well. Have my times gone up, guys? I'd really like to be...
Oh, shit, so we're not meant to be having the cocaine. Fuck, I didn't feel like it. I thought I was pleasing you. I'm sorry. Dude, I'm going to have to make a move. I've got to get going.
Yeah, well, you do. You said you got to 1, man.
No, dude, I've got to go because I'm not getting anything done. Tell me what TG6 is at the moment.
Oh, it's like 70 cents, man.
No, it will have bounced back during our chat.
No, it's 73 cents.
Okay, that's amazing.
It's almost exactly the same.
And what's TPD? Nothing. Probably down to 16.
Dude, nothing, man.
Probably gone lower.
18 cents. Yeah, it's slightly lower.
And then what about STX? That matches it. What about Hazer? 59. How's Hazer, dude?
59, yeah.
The middle of the year, middle of November, it was meant to come online. Now, I'm no statistician, but it's the 17th of November, which is definitely past the middle.
Yeah, man. Someone told me that that TPG was going to be doubling in like, I don't know, maybe like 3 days from when I bought
Well,
it.
actually-
And it's been about 400 days.
There's actually no chance of it ever doubling now. The best scenario is about 30, 40 cents max.
I got that. What was it? There was a. What do they fucking send out? Like an investor.
Oh, yeah, trying to get you to agree. But you know
Yeah.
what the thing is? Because people will say to you, well, you told me it could get to $1. I'm like, yeah, not after 5 cap raises. It's fucking never getting there now because they've drained the bath, dude. The peak capacity has been reduced forever by dilution. So the scenario doesn't unfold. Interest rates are fucking through the roof. The macro environment doesn't bend for it. It was possible to get to 50 cents when we had zero interest and no capital raises. But while those hamsters lined their nest and put more fucking feed or whatever they sit on, sawdust, what do these fucking pigs live on? But dude, I want to get out of this because when I look at the views and I'm like, I can't just keep talking to these people.
What do you mean?
Well, I want to get food and look outside and yell at people. What I'm saying is there's only so much time we can give to this fucking pod, dude. I'm spent emotionally now.
I thought you were stoic, man.
No, I'm just like, I've got to go because I've got to get some shit sorted for my kids.
Let's wrap
and
up.
I'm doing this goddamn beer fest tonight, which means it's outdoors to fucking drunks, and I have to do 2 sets. And last time I did a set there, an elderly guy said, "You're not funny," and we ended up having a skirmish. And I go, "You know, I'm a real person, dude."
You sent a video of this, didn't you?
Yeah, and I said I can come down and fuck you up.
You sent me a video of this, and then you were like, "Please delete that. Never show that to anybody."
Dude, no, because what happened is this elderly guy said to me, he basically goes, I go, "You know, I'm a real person. I could come over there and just fuck you up." And he did basically Conor McGregor, "You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing."
Yeah, and then you did.
And I was like, so he basically baited me. He said, "You'll do nothing."
Yeah, you said, "I'll come over there and fuck you up." He said, "No, you won't." And he's baiting me now.
No,
this is a classic bait. I threatened him, and he refuted me.
Dude, I literally said, I can come over there and this is real life.
Yeah.
I said, I have no obligation to this thing. You're being rude to me. I don't accept that. I could come and bash you.
Yeah, a threat,
And he goes, "No, you wouldn't."
and then a refute.
And I said, "No." I said, "What I will tell you is I will come over there if you do not shut up." And he said, "You'll do nothing." So as far as I'm concerned, guess what, mate? I will do something.
Threat,
And you will.
rebuttal, threat, rebuttal, action.
Yeah, but what have I done wrong? He told me I wouldn't do anything.
I think the issue is I'm on your side because it's annoying and he should be punched.
Well, he provoked me.
Yeah, well, no, hold on, but that's where I'm saying.
Yes, he did, because he could've-
I'm saying that the very objective reality of this is that you were in the wrong as soon as you threatened him.
No, I wasn't. No, because guess what?
Yeah,
He was
you
rude
were.
in interrupting my show.
I know, but that doesn't warrant the threat.
So guess what? That's bad behavior. And guess what I do to bad behavior? I fucking smack it in the head. Because I like respect, and you should respect other human beings. And guess what? The law of the jungle is, guess what, fuckhead? We're both got our egos tied up in this. You're humiliating me, and I'm telling you, if you don't stop humiliating me, I will lash out and hit you. I know you're old and frail, and I might break your heart, but I said you need to lower your ego.
That's a beautiful statement to make, and then also literally a beautiful statement. Like it's both quite nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'll break your heart figuratively, and also maybe it'll stop if I punch you in the head.
Yeah, but what I'm explaining to you is that if he, as a human being, is aware that I'm in a vulnerable position because I'm in front of 200 people and I am exposed. He's in the dark, so I've got more at stake, and he's using that opportunity to embarrass me from a weakened position. When I'm in a weakened position, if he said that face to face in the bar, I'd headbutt him straight away. But he knows that he's got witnesses, so he uses it from that point to leverage himself because he's a weak man, and he uses that being concealed in the darkness to try elevate himself. I warn him and say, I see what you're doing.
You threatened him, yeah.
From the safety of the dark, you are trying to find power. Okay,
Man, this guy sounds like a kind of cool Batman.
and I say to you, you exploit this scenario where I'm exposed to try get power. I will fuck you up. And then he says, guess what? I know they're witnesses here, so I'll push you to the brink of your sanity because I want to feel big in this moment. Well, guess what? I couldn't have looked smaller when I shoved him on the couch, but it's fucking, he was the provocateur because what he came to that show looking to feel important.
How do you feel about...
As did I.
How do you feel about him making you the NPC? He treated you like the NPC in this interaction.
Yeah, but guess what? If they hadn't been witnesses there, I would have beat him to a pulp.
Yeah, but there were, so you didn't. And so he got to be the playable character, and then you were the NPC.
Yeah, but guess what?
And just like you flipping off that black guy in your car, you started to approach him. He freaked out a bit.
Guess what I know?
What?
Guess what I know is there's trauma in being attacked. So that he's in a bubble, and in my memory now, I'm the assailant. And in his memory, when he's at Coles and he hears a random banging, it could be me. So he's a harsher life now. Because he's the coward that shouts from the darkness. And now guess what happens?
He's the guardian in the darkness. He's what the city needs.
Guess what happens for weeks? Guess what happened for weeks? When he goes to hang out the laundry at night and he hears something in the bush. It could be me. It's changed his whole reality. It could be that man that chased him and pushed him on the chair. When he wakes up abruptly at night and goes, oh, maybe he's in the house. And I have lasting PTSD on him forever. And that is my legacy, performing in his head forever now.
It seems like you might be the one who's holding on a bit more. But
I'm
to be
not
fair,
holding on.
To be fair, you're the one who was going back tonight. So you have to go back to the scene of the crime that you committed.
I got booked again and I learnt nothing from it. The only thing, and the thing, I didn't assault him because there was a kindness in me because he was
You did push him.
Yeah, but
on film.
Yeah, but I held him with my other hand and stopped him from actually falling.
You threatened him and then you pushed him, which I think is like legally just an assault.
Yeah, but I pushed him with my left hand and I'm right-handed. And I also used my right hand to prevent his chair from falling so he didn't get a head trauma. So I was kind. Even in that, I was aware of lawsuits. And I was like, I definitely don't want him to hit his head because that can fuck someone up.
Yeah, we'll finish it up. I just said I had some finishing thanks. I think we'll wrap it up real nice.
No, dude, I literally can't do it because I've got to do this last 30 minutes of trading and we can just split this into 2 eps.
Yeah,
we'll have to do it next time, or I can record on Monday.
I just said
I literally can't do.
Well, you did spend 15 minutes talking about how you pushed that man. That's fine.
I know, but man, I've just got to go because I want to do the last trading and I've got to go now.
Okay, well then let me finish on this one thing because I was holding on to it for ages ago.
Let's save this one for the beautiful next app.
Imagine you're just some nice girl in the UK and then you meet some Australian guy and you're swept up by the accent and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is the international romance I always dreamt of. And then he flies you over there and it's just the swag man from the Waltzing Matilda song.
Dude.
That's the slumming it, but you don't know it. Like that
is the exact same, to tie in what we were saying about going to the Irish, the gypsy, and it's a meth addict, and you think it's an accent.
Yeah, you're in a caravan. You're some guy who lives in a tent with an Australian accent.
Dude, it's the same. It's the same way when where you go and you have snails in France, but from a truck stop, and you hate them, or you're told that pies are amazing in Australia, and you buy them from a 7-Eleven, and you're like, pies are fucking. This is a prison pie. What the fuck? It can kill me. And you're like, no one eats those. And it's the exact same biggest issue with meeting your partner is you need to get a private detective to investigate their family lineage right back to their convict ancestry. Because my biggest mistake, you've got to meet the mum, the dad, the extended family to know the genetics. You can't take a fucking risk.
I mean, at the very least, you need a tour guide. You need a local guide who, when you meet a fucking caravan person, they're like, whoa, hold on. This is a chav. You gotta stop.
This was like a bucks party I went to, and the bride's father was got blackout drunk, and we egged him on. I egged him on. He to piss over the neighbour's fence, and he was standing on a plastic chair with his dick out, pissing over the fence into the neighbour's property. And guess what? My mate's dad was egging him on, and I realised it's a match made in heaven. Because, do you know what I mean? Like, there was no judgment. The father-in-law and the in-law were connecting over a depraved act, and I'm like, this is going to last. And it has. It has. They couldn't
beautiful.
be fucking happier.
That's really
But you have those moments where you see sort of upper echelon with Mrs. Bouquet, where they meet the lower echelon scumbags, and you're like, how can it ever work? And you know when you see the families, worlds are colliding, and you see the dad let out a big fart at the present opening, and everyone's like, oh, Jeff, for fuck's sake. And everyone's trying to, it's all right. Oh, shit. And you're like, this is fucking doom.
I had that in Canada, man. Like one night I'd end up in like in the dormitory of some fucking private university girl.
Yeah.
And then the next night I'm in the attic of a drug addict raver. I remember one night watching a prostitute injecting methamphetamine. It was terrifying.
Dude, and
How did I
that's
get
actually,
here? What the fuck? I thought these were normal people. It's the accent, man. It disguises it.
and they thought you were Croc Dundee. That's what's so crazy.
They thought I was Murray from Flight of the Conchords.
That's what's so crazy with the comedians, because the smarter ones, people are minds blown because they imagine you eating your own shit in the Australian desert. So when Hannah Gadsby comes out and waxes lyrical, they're like, what the fuck? One of these bin gypsies is quite sophisticated at thinking. What the fuck's going on? I can't imagine a bin gypsy talking about, sexuality. So there's a humour in it because it's insane for a baby to say a big word. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck?
If they knew the truth, the number of Australians who also freak out when they see a big fucking spider, it would ruin the illusion.
Oh, dude, and then,
no one's handling snakes, man. You see a snake, you're like, snake, back inside, there's a fucking snake, what the fuck?
that's what happens a lot with the comedians, because they're jarring private school fucks, but when they go over there, it's very counterintuitive to the stereotypical Australian. So it feels like Croc Dundee are doing poems, and they don't realise, you know what I mean? Like there's an insight in breaking the stereotype. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow!
You surprise and excite.
You surprise them and you startle them with the punchlines, because they actually expect you to pull your dick out and urinate into your own mouth and go like, we're hydrating in the bush. I'm Bear Grylls. I've been bitten by a snake and now I'll eat my own feces to survive another hour in the wilderness.
When the person who is pissing into their own mouth pulls your child out of the way of an oncoming bus, it's shocking. It's amazing.
Dude, it's a bit like the shoey phenomenon, because it's not that big a thing, but Frenchie latched onto it and a few other people pushed it. And now every American's going, all right, I'll do the bloody shoey. I'm like, not that big a thing, really. I mean, I have seen it done, but it's not like it's become the new fucking Vegemite sandwich. And I'm like, large chunks of us couldn't give a fuck about this weird bogan tradition.
Also, it is quite gross. Don't do it. Why would you do that?
It just belittles the Australian experience, because every show, everyone knows where it ends up. Well, and you can see Bert looking around, or whoever's on stage, and going, all right, go on, you pulled my leg. Shooey,
But in a way, that is really the Australian experience. some weird little thing that's been latched onto and is now part of the culture.
Dude, and imagine how sad you are
drinking beer out of a fucking shoe.
to think that the crowd, this is how herdy they are, that they don't just go, oh, you know what? I'm so fucking sick of hearing about this fucking shoey. Let Gillis just do his set. For fuck's sake. No. They smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. Do you know they have to fucking intrude on and push the fucking stereotype because they're so one-dimensional and pathetic? This is how dumb these people... You could one-up it. If you did a shoey and then slapped your own face with the sole of the shoe left and right, and you're like, the new shoey, the power slap, the power shoey. People would go like, fuck yeah, dude, power slew. Gillis has done a power shoey. What you do is you drink from the thing and then you slap both cheeks with the sole of the shoe. It's a power shoey. And they're like, innovator. And then would they accept you one-upping the tradition and going, power fluey, slap your face,
yeah.
And then you rub it on your dickie. You rub your dickie on the shoelaces, power shoey.
Dude, they would love it. They would absolutely love it, man. Power shoey would take off. And an 18-month tour, by the last date, man, you'd be eating a roast chicken out of your own fucking underpants.
Dude, this is what I do. This is where people goes, do a shoey, and I go, g'day, mates, I'll show you how we do them in the US. And then I pull down my pants, shit into the shoe with the beer, skull that, and then slap my own face and go, the dishes are done, motherfucker. Shoey, power slap shoey. Shit sandwich. She just smiled and gave me a shit sandwich. People would be like, ah! You'd see heads explode and go like, Australia! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. It's fucking crazy. That's enough for a week, I reckon.
That's great, man. It's perfect.
15 overexposed bad positions looming.